A couple years ago, I was in my senior year of high school. I had just turned 18 and was living with my older brother and my dad, who's a single parent. We had recently moved into a beach condo right on the shore in San Diego. It was a strange setup where one unit was the third floor, and then the second and first floor were divided in half vertically into two units. We lived on the side open to the sidewalk. The other side had a gated boardwalk entry and was right next to another condo of similar style. The condo was a bit older and creepy when we moved in. There were two master suites and one regular bedroom all on the second floor. Since my brother only came home to sleep, my dad and I each had one of the suites. I was also sort of a daddy's princess. We were all pretty happy and loved the new place. Until I found a door. Again, this condo was a little strange. In my room, there was a sunroom. It had been a balcony at some point. You could tell by the concrete floor and the drain in the middle of it, but had been closed in by large windows. I liked to sit there to do homework with my cat. She enjoyed the sun and I enjoyed the view of the ocean. But as much as I had been out there, I never considered moving the bookshelf that had been there since before we moved in. Because, well, why the fuck would I? That was until my cat was going ballistic, and I noticed her chase a mouse behind it. I told my dad, and we bought a couple mouse traps. We were going to put them behind the bookshelf and went to move it out of the way. When we shifted it, we saw the door. It was locked, and we were never given a key for it. Although we figured it was just a storage closet, my dad and I were both curious, so we asked the landlord. They had no idea what it led to, so we did the logical thing and hired a locksmith who opened the door to reveal a hidden fire escape. It was a dark and creepy indoor stairway that led to a door in our shared garage. The only way to get to this door was from the third-story balcony or the door inside of our garage. Either way, you had to already be in the building to get to it, so we weren't really worried about it. A few days later, my dad and brother decided to go on a small road trip. They left me behind because I was still in school and drove myself to class anyway. I had stayed home alone many times before. I was used to it and never really got lonely thanks to my cat and small dog. Nobody besides my boyfriend knew I would be home alone, and nobody besides my dad and myself knew about that door, so I felt rather safe. I went to bed late. I was a night owl and cuddled up with my cat and dog and fell asleep while watching a movie on my laptop. I awoke at God knows what time it was. It was after 1 a.m., but still dark out. To my small dog freaking out and a person trying to get into my room through that door. My dog attacked them and quite possibly saved my life. And I went back to bed thinking it was all a dream. The next morning I went to grab my backpack from the sunroom and there was blood everywhere. The door was still open and there was blood leading down the stairs. I called my boyfriend and my dad. Then finally the cops and my school to let them know I wouldn't be coming in today. The cops took samples of the blood and pictures of the trail. Then they got a good laugh when I showed them the Terrier Chihuahua mix who protected me and from the looks of it had a good bite out of the stranger's leg. My dad and brother cut their trip short and my boyfriend stayed with me until they got back. I was terrified. I couldn't think of anyone who knew about that door, had access to it, and possibly was timing it for my dad and brother to be gone. The cops never came back with anything, and we put the bookshelf back, but it took a long time for me to be able to sleep easily in that room again. Who knows what would have happened to me if my dog wasn't there. I live in a small town in Australia. To paint a visual, the town I live in is set out on giant hills, surrounded by a lake and bushland. in which you will need to cross a bridge that runs parallel between the lake and a giant coal mine power station that our town is renowned for. It was a Sunday night around 8 p.m. I had just finished work at a fish and chip shop a town over from mine. As it was summer, so it was still light outside and it wouldn't get dark until about 9:30 to 10 p.m. I got in my car and was driving home. As I started coming down towards the 4 lanes next to the power station towards my town, I saw a shadow up ahead on the right running fast alongside the wire fence of the power station car park. I immediately slowed down because wildlife like kangaroos have a tendency to run out in front of your car. But this thing kinda looked like a dog. I remember thinking, what is a dog doing all the way out here? Then, as it came closer, it was running on all fours, kinda like a gallop, straight towards my car. Then it diagonally leaps, crossing the 2 lanes leading out of town and onto the 2 lanes in front of me. I could now see this thing clearly. It wasn't a dog. It was so much bigger than a dog. This creature had the exact face and head shape of a dog, but no fur instead. It was like extremely pale human skin. This thing was so close to my car I could see its giant blue veins down its body, to its long tail, as well as every joint moving in its legs as it ran. It then went across the road in front of me and leaped over the guardrail on the left of my car like it was nothing. It's like time just stopped. All I could hear was the blood pumping through my heart, and in my head, left thinking, what the hell was that thing? I didn't realize my car was at a complete stop in the middle of the road. Then my body just woke back up with a jolt of overwhelming fear and just pure dread. My blood felt like ice. I immediately locked my doors and slammed my foot down, speeding home. When I got home, I was so shaken up and trembling when I told my family. The only way I could fully explain what it looked like was that werewolf from Harry Potter. But my father just laughed at me and joked as if I had been smoking drugs. No one to this day believes me, nor have I heard of anyone else seeing it. Even though this happened years ago, it still terrifies me to walk my dogs down there to the lake on my own. So this happened back in November of 2018, which is not too long ago. So I was home alone while my parents were at my house. I was watching Netflix in the living room where I look and I saw a pink light. The living room leads to the back door and there is a set of double glass doors to the patio. I put my glasses on and walk closer. I seen 2 X's and a smile in glowing pink neon. I open the glass and see a glowing pink purge mask just staring at me. Everything else was glass. Just the sight of it terrified me. I looked and he was standing there, and I began to panic when I seen that he had a gun in his hand. I started to panic and tried to see if the gun was real. I ran to see if my door was locked. I called my brother because stupid me thought it would be better not to call the police if it is just a hallucination. My brother flies down and I am trying to make myself believe it was fake until my brother screams, "Get away from there!" My brother has his gun drawn and he chased the man. The man with the mask ran away and my brother chased him down, but he couldn't catch up. He came back and I opened the door. He stayed the night. 3 days later, I see a story of an old lady getting murdered. It said it was one of many murders tied to a man, with the only feature being a pink mask. Here's the backstory. I went on a website kind of like Facebook, but it wasn't. I'll call it Tea Time. Around 2010, I went on Tea Time basically religiously. I was young and dumb. I was a 14-year-old female, so it's kind of worse for me. Yes, this sounds cheesy as hell, but it's actually terrible. I found a couple of friends, around 5, who I became close with. It didn't get close fast, but gradually. They knew what country and state I lived in, but that was it, because I was really scared of creepers. I knew basically everything about them, because we were friends, but that was all. After a year, I got more close with one of the guys. Things got more, I guess, intimate. He lived on the other side of the country, and we've been planning to meet for a while because I did trust them. We were all around the same age and had similar interests. I just happened to connect with this one guy even more. To continue more, I got off of tea time because I had school and I realized something seemed kind of fishy after they called me by my real name. I told them I was Samantha or Sammy, which is nowhere near my name. I was kind of scared, so I deleted my account and never went on it again. Then I forgot about my messaging app. He was threatening me and told me to get back on tea time. He didn't seem to care at all. He told me my address, full legal name, and where I went to school. His intentions, along with another friend I got close with, not like with him. They wanted to kidnap me for their boss. His name was Carlos or Sanchez. All I know is that it was a Mexican name. I was so scared. I started skipping school, putting up cameras, wearing different clothes, and trying on different hairstyles. November 2012. They showed up at my house when I skipped. They had pistols, an M9 to be specific, and what looked like a machete. I did what I thought was best. I hid in the closet in my room and called the police. Their faces will haunt me to this day because they made me super insecure about myself. Told me all the crazy and sadistic things they would do to me, cutting my skin open, breaking my limbs and fingers, shoving a knife up my ass. I was mortified. I broke the lock to my closet so I would stay locked inside. It took police 5 minutes to get me out. I was crying my eyes out and I was so scared. They were never caught, so even to this day, I'm so scared. I found information on them because of similar problems. They are both 40 years old and rapists who work under a guy to put young girls and boys into human trafficking. To this day, in 2019, my parents don't know. The times I skipped, I played off as just being sick, so I was in the clear. I have extreme trust issues now, and I feel like this did help me a bit to get it off my chest. I've never told a single person my story. Only that one policeman who did the investigation with and for me. When people say be careful on the internet, please don't take that as a joke. Hey everybody, Bottomless Dread here. I hope you're all having a fantastic day or night. I want you to go down to the comments section and tell me which of these stories did you think was the scariest. Also, tell me what kind of stories you would like to hear more in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. When you click that bell, you will get a notification whenever I release new content. Until next time, farewell and adieu.